Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me. Do let me know. I've had a little, I've had a few problems going live with the sound. I don't know why, but if you could let me know, I would appreciate it. It looks like it didn't go live on YouTube for some reason. Hmm. Let me double check here. Sorry about that, guys. Let me double check in 1 second. Hope you can hear me. And I do want to check something though, quick, because I did put the link. Oops. I did put the link. Ah, bastard. Afternoon, Flady. How's it going? I guess it did go through. Okay, good, because that means that it is on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it is on X. And I guess you can hear me, or else you would have mentioned it. So thanks. Um, okay. Okay. It's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, and it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. I'm going to turn off the phone now. I don't want any distractions. While I focus on this. And we can get going now. I'm just going to dive right in. Let me close this up. Let me get this clear. What a great cover. Let me move this over here. So I mentioned this fucking flap keeps flapping over. It's annoying. Yeah, that's just a kick-ass cover. And again, each cover is very different than the other. The first one with the dark blue sky. Hey, Dan. How's it going? I am having a great day. Appreciate it, Dan. I hope you are as well. Glad to have you here. Thanks, man. So far, a great day. Off of work, reading some CG comics and a Bosch comic review. Awesome, Flady. I'm glad you're here, as well as Dan. Appreciate it. Thanks for commenting, Dan. In particular, because it seems like the most activity is on YouTube, the most engagement, whereas X is very little. I don't know why. I have the most following on X. I would prefer, I have about 30,000 followers on X. So I'd like more engagement. It happens to be that YouTube, even with my small channel, gets a lot more engagement. Okay, so this is different than the last three covers. Clearly, that first one with the dramatic dark blue background, night sky with a lightning bolt and Batman, the silhouette diving in front of it. And then the second one with that, again, grotesque, stunning, image of Batman hunched over, looking beaten and monstrous. And then you got the third one with Carrie Kelly Robin, the bottom right corner, looking up at the huge bat signal. And now you have basically what was leading up to it in the last two issues. In issue 2, you get the idea that Superman is around. And then in issue 3, you had a little more of that. You started to see him going around the following orders from our government. Dan says, I open X way more often. This isn't, yeah, me too. Me too. This is an awesome graphic cover. It really is. It's fantastic. I mean, look at it. Just striking as hell. You saw this on the shelf, you wanted it. And especially if you were following it. But even if you weren't following it, I imagine you see it and say, holy shit, that's a damn good cover. And that's Batman decked out in some kind of military armor with a knife and a big rifle loaded for bear, and then you got Superman ready to go at it on the high ground. And it's just, it's great. Just great graphic. So here we go, guys. Diving into the final issue of The Dark Knight Returns, which again is the comic book that more than any other, if I think about it, I wasn't conscious of it at the time, but looking back, it must have been the point that I said, okay, I've always wanted to draw comics, but this is, I think I want to write comics as well. I want to write and draw the stories that I tell. And if you know about Pigman, if you read Pigman, it's not a complete, it's not. I'm inspired by it for sure. You can tell aspects of it, the media's reaction to Pigman and such. The stakes get higher and higher as the story goes. Um, it's a super war at one point with Pigman and Superchild, and there's history between both Frank and Dr. Muhammad as well, the way it is with these guys. But one's an actual supervillain, and one's a superhero. And Batman in this is a superhero, even though he's not powered. And Superman is a symbol of a compromiser who has compromised with the government, is doing their bidding, no matter what they ask of him. It seems like more or less a sellout. But if you look at the Dark Knight master race, the third Dark Knight, even though Frank Miller didn't, he only co-wrote it. What does that mean? I don't know. Brian Azzarello co-wrote it with him. You have one of the Kubert sons. I don't know which one it was. Andy Kubert, maybe, who drew it, trying to look like Miller. But my point is that the Superman of this Dark Knight universe is looked at with a little more sympathetic eye by Miller in that one. And it makes a little more sense what he's been up to and why he made this compromise. It wasn't just out of being a sellout. He was trying to protect something. And Batman's attitude shifts a little about him, about Superman. So it's worth reading. It's worth reading more than the second one, the Dark Knight Strikes Back, which was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't care what, it seems to me that some of the people who can't draw, whether they're indie comics artists or Rob Liefeld, tend to have soft spots for that. And also, Rob Liefeld is the only one who's currently praising Miller's shit covers. But Miller's doing covers that are horrific today, 2025. They're just terrible. And it happens to be that one of the worst artists in comic book history, Rob Liefeld, is praising those. Naturally. He's praising himself through that. He's insulting art, praising himself through praising Miller's worst covers ever. That's a different story. Rob Liefeld was brought up on Shane Davis's channel the other night when I popped in for the Kangs. And he trashed John Romita Jr. and Greg Capullo. It's like, who are you to trash anyone? Anyone. It's ridiculous to me. It's obscene, And as I described Liefeld there, and I've always had this attitude about him. I never sway. I never fell for it. In other words, and he's a comic book artist. Sorry, he's a comic book fan who wanted to be a comic book artist but didn't put in the work. He skipped everything he possibly can. Didn't put in the hard work to learn every basic aspect of art, and got through on some mediocre editors who let him through the door. That's really what happened. And it's terrible because the standards collapse in a lot of ways with comics. Once he was in, brought a lot of mediocrities along the way, and within a few years, the industry collapsed. The standards were not there. But that's another story. Let's get to this great comic, The Dark Knight Falls, the fourth part of The Dark Knight Returns. And again, as I mentioned, the first issue is a lot more representational, a lot more well rendered, a better drafting, and so on. But the story got better and better, heavier, more stakes, more epic. So in that way, I can forgive the art to some extent. And there are still elements which are fantastic, as you'll see in this. I mean, fantastic. But here a lot of people became caricatures in a lot of ways also. They became caricatures. So here we go. This is Merkel, the cop who was in constant silhouette no matter what. He was in Dark Knight Returns and Batman Year One. He's like the right-hand man of Gordon, and now he's the right-hand man of Captain Yindel, Commissioner Yindel. He goes, "That's right, Captain. The commissioner got tired of waiting, took a squad in herself. You like that bitch, don't you, Merkel? Got the other end sealed. No way they'll get past us." So this is in the aftermath of the Joker killing, going on a murder spree that kills hundreds. Get some body bags, got two cold ones. He just killed a whole group of young students, Boy Scouts, just poisoned them with cotton candy, with free cotton candy. And as he put it, if they were to put every last person I have killed, somewhat along the lines of like head to toe around the earth, it wouldn't be enough. His bloodlust. He's a nihilist. He kills for killing's sake. He's a madman, but he's evil too. And people tend to say, "Well, he's just crazy." Yeah, and he's evil. We can't overlook that aspect. So then here's Lola Chong, the newscaster throughout the entire series. Showdown at the county fair where the Joker is said to have murdered at least 20. So he killed a few hundred. I think they ended up being 200, I think or they said 60 at the David Endocrine show or more. I don't know. But overall, he's killed, I guess now, after this, close to 700 people in his entire, crime career, terrorist career. Murder at least 20. Cited was the Batman in hot pursuit of the Joker. And if you remember the last issue, Batman tried to kill him. As he said, all the people I've killed by letting you live. There's nothing wrong with you that I can't fix with my hands, right? And at the end, he, as the Joker is stabbing away in Batman's gut after he shot him in the gut, Batman he cracks his neck, actually, breaks his neck, but he doesn't quite kill him. And the Joker does it for him, knowing that he'll be seen as a murderer, even though I don't know how many people would get up in arms about the Joker finally getting his, especially after what he's just done, the greatest killing spree he probably ever had. Only the media and only scumbag communists would be up in arms when it's just the thing to do. That's the way you stop him. You kill him for murdering. Led by Commissioner Yindel, police were last seen converging on the Tunnel of Love with arrest orders for both the Joker and for Gotham's vigilante. So dark, man. Careful now. Quiet. Can't see a damn thing. Take it slow. So dark. Here's Batman, who's really in pain. He has to be in a hospital. He's got to get treatment quick. He's been shot and stabbed repeatedly. The incendiaries are in place. The enemy is seconds away. The enemy, he's referring to the cops at this point. The enemy is seconds away. I waste 1 second with a goodbye. He spits on the Joker. "Commissioner, over here. It's the Joker. It's no suicide. Sergeant, don't touch it." "I said don't touch. Lieutenant, get him covered." He rigged the body. Batman. "Jesus, rig the body. Son of a bitch, rig the body now while they're scared, while my guts are still where they belong." And it's funny, things like this, in terms of proportion, right? You got, let me go here. You have, Batman has he's a big Batman in this. I mean, huge. And with big hands, but when it comes to certain proportion, Miller just gets way off. I mean, look at the tiny hands. His legs will be, way out here, and his tiny hands there. It's just funny. Those are the things I catch. It's a lack of proportion there on Miller's part, but and again, we get to see that old transition also where it's going from mostly inked by Klaus Janson and parts of it, panels of it, and some pages inked by Miller. And I'll point them out. I remember, I noticed it years ago, but it was confirmed with the one gallery edition, artist edition that I have, where you saw on vellum, overlaid over the pages here, which panels Miller inked and then you get to see the ones that Klaus Janson, the same panels, which is so cool to see different artists approach. And hope you guys don't mind all these tangents. I just, I like getting deep in here. Why I love this comic and all these things that are going on. It's a very dense comic, packed with a lot of meaning. It's a well told crime story. So Batman throws some, I guess, mini bombs. Christ, it's spreading. It's fire spreading. Holy boom, 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 boom. He goes, Robin, come in, Robin. And she's still out of it after seeing that Joker's henchman, that big fat guy, lose his head on the roller coaster, if you remember. She's overwhelmed, grossed out, and just totally, you know, she shouldn't see these things. He goes, summon the copter, follow my signal. She snaps out of it. Yes, sir. I'm punching the code in. Uh-oh, got trouble, boss. Just like that, she is out of it. Back into it, actually. Attention, as in media. And then here, you got that freakish reporter who's always cackling at things. He belongs in this kind of world, in this mad world. He goes, closer, move in closer. Lola, can you see it? Live from the newscopter. It's Robin, the boy wonder. They keep assuming it's a boy. It's so funny. He's young, can't be older than 13. He's riding the roller coaster. He's click, clack, clack. Freeze, you. One of them has the brains to jump clear. You son of a bitch. So Yindel has the drop on Batman. She's right up on him. While he's, in serious pain, he needs medical attention quick. You son of a bitch, freeze! And he just, boom, punches her, takes her gun. He goes, cute gun. Stop laughing. He's losing it. He sees what's left of the Joker, this burnt skull with his batarang still in his eye, turned red. Varley colored that red, which is cool as hell. It's a nice touch. And again, we get to see Batman turn into a real caricature at this point, as opposed to the first issue. And the black costume has turned gray. When Klaus Janson inks it, it's usually all in gray. When Miller inks it, it's usually all in black. That's the batarang right there. And Batman got his eye out. And that's what's left of him. A burnt husk. And still, laughing. He died laughing. So here's a SWAT team, or whatever you want to call it. We're moving in, man. No time to waste. If it's not a cop, shoot it. Blow that bastard's head off. Swear I'll blow his goddamn head off. Batman's like, SWAT team. They're armored. Won't have to restrain myself. Just enough time to... He goes, whoa, blacked out. Can't afford that. Good. Didn't get the gun wet. I'll need it provided I can fit my finger in the trigger guard. Something to keep an old man awake, and something else to bring the house down. So he sets a bomb there. And here's that mad reporter. I guess he's perfect for Gotham in a lot of ways. He seems confident. What the? That's not one of ours. Coming right at us. Bank, you idiot. Bank! So you have the Batcopter coming in. Coming right at us. Look out! So Robin jumps off the roller coaster onto the tire. The parking tire of the Batcopter, whatever they call it. She says, find him. It's very good, man. Very good choreography here. Good drawing. Lynn Varley's painting the backgrounds nicely also. Jesus, what a mess. Can't see a damn thing. He's in here somewhere. Look sharp. He goes, my finger fits. He makes it a point to say how big his hands are. And then, of course, in the last panel, they were tiny, which is funny to me. Plastique, all set. Easy shot. Anybody could hit it. And he blacks out again. He's like, buddy, blam! He misses it. Clumsy, stupid, senile. There, shoot to kill. Doddering, helpless. Blam! Rarely see Batman wielding a gun. Lucky. The plastique goes up. My heart only skips one beat. Lucky. The roof lands on the SWAT team. Lucky old man. He knows, he referred to them as the enemy. And, I think the point is that were they in a healthier Gotham, the cops wouldn't be the enemy. Batman wouldn't exist and so on, you know? But like in the old days, the cops are corrupt. You know, these guys want to kill Batman on sight. They want to blow him away. That's not what cops supposed to do. In that sense, they are the enemy here. They're acting like a Gestapo. The all-seeing Ian. Hey, there's an annoying liberal and legal tendency to absolve the crazy from any culpability or responsibility. We had some ridiculous situations because of that. Absolutely. You know, you rarely hear evil talking about evil, except when they speak about good. Muslims, when they talk about non-Muslims, leftists, when they talk about non-leftists, they're always projecting their evil onto them. But they never call actual evil evil. They never do that, ever. It's like a rule. They don't have many rules. They're nihilists, you know. But they always tend to, invariably, not call evil evil. Because in a way, they would acknowledge their own evil if they were to do that. Hey, Mikey, how's it going, man? Appreciate it. Thanks for posting the link to Pigman. I'll make my pitch, guys. I'm closing it again this week. I've been trying to find a home to close it. I haven't been able to so far, so I might just, Katie offered. I'll definitely look into that and maybe even just close it on King's Night on Monday and maybe Kang's. Well, whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe people aren't don't want to be associated with it to some extent. I don't know. I'm always surprised when people think that it's some kind of controversial thing when it's not. Just because Marvel and DC are publishing Muslim superheroes and no one else is publishing anti-child superhero, fuck it, I don't care. Those rat bastards got to get it, and they're gonna get it in my comic. So, let's go back. Batman blows out the wall, gets out there. That's a fun drawing there. This huge Batman. And then Robin says, property damage, auto. Boom! To distract. I knew she'd make it. I might have at her age. And then he gets pulled up. It's very good. Very real reaction by Batman there, especially he's in serious pain. And they're shooting away, and it looks like they're making it. Yindo's going to kill us. Now, these guys wanted to kill Batman. Would they have tried to kill the Joker? Probably not. Probably not. But Batman, they're ready to kill him. That's way out of line. That's why, again, when he calls me the enemy at that point, I'm like, I get it. This is a corrupt police institution, the mayors and so on, the governor. And you have this decent cop. I mean, Ellen Yindel, however she was made to be seen. She was pretty reasonable in certain ways. She didn't want the Joker to go to that event. She wanted to arrest Batman. She doesn't quite understand the situation. She will, as Gordon did. And here's the mayor. Gotham City will no longer tolerate this flagrant violation of the law, this violent assault on the very underpinnings of our society. Gotham governor, or whatever you call that. I don't even know if it's New York governor here. I don't know. Gotham is Gotham City, and then what's the outer? Do you know? Anyone out there? I think there's a New York City in DC Universe, but I'm not 100% sure. Flady1 writes, I know it can take a lot of energy, but maybe just plan to stream a good portion of that day and hop on any channels as opportunities arise, and maybe drop your final pitch on Kings and Kangs. I just might do that, Flady, because that might be the only way I can do it. Early in the day, stream for a few hours. I have to do something in the afternoon, come back, get ready for Kings and Kangs, and then even after that, just make sure I'm there, giving it the best chance to succeed as I can, because I want a strong closeout. And maybe even do Katie's morning show. Good Morning Comics Gate. I think she has that. Because Katie, generously offered. And I said, Katie, I've been waiting to hear back, but I'll let you know. I'm going to let her know very soon. So yeah, I think that'll be the case. So as of right now, guys, it'll be Monday, unless you know. But even that, even so, if I get on, I think it'll still be Monday. Give myself that, and have some eyeballs on the Kings at least, and I won't make too many pictures there. But okay, 9 a.m. Eastern on Mondays. Okay, very very cool. And I'll probably get on before her on my own, and then get on there, and then again get on my own for a number of hours, and have to do something for about an hour and a half in the afternoon, and then come back and do Kings and hopefully Kings. I think that'll be good. Um, it's my first campaign. I'm still relative newbie when it comes to comics getting comics at Kings, so um, I didn't bring too much of a spotlight on it either. I mean, it's just relatively small campaign to me though. It is what it is. I mean, it ends up being what it ends up being. That's it. I had no expectations. It's my first campaign. I'm like, okay, it's my first one. Let me, and once I get issue two out, we'll see how that goes. Once I launch issue two as well, uh, I have to fulfill. People have to read it, and hopefully it'll have good word. Unless Mike Partika trashes it, which it looks like he might. He tends to do that. Very presumptuous, but we'll see. Okay, so let's continue here. So the governor says, thanks, Flady. I think that's a good idea. By attacking Gotham's police, Batman has revealed himself as an unqualified menace. I have instructed the Attorney General to place the state police at Gotham's disposal. The Joker's body found mutilated and burned. Murder is added to the charges against Batman. And then, Clark, Superman says, Bruce, it's over. Uh-huh. You don't know the circumstances. You don't know exactly what happened. You don't know what the situation is. You don't know that the Joker actually killed himself, that Batman lost nerve, and so on. But he'll take the word of the scum media, who have blamed Batman for everything and have gone soft on the enemies. Notice everything is about Batman, from the media to everything else. The Joker just slaughtered innocents across the board. I mean, again, over 100 probably at this point on this night alone. You know, that's not the dominant story. It's about Batman killing this mass murderer, and that's the problem. Yeah, it's a little infuriating. You look tired, Kent. Well, you've earned a good night's sleep. Heck of a police action, if you ask me. He goes, I didn't. You could tell he's not pleased being errand boy for the government. Doesn't like it. Being this one-man army, this secret weapon. And then you got these weird, I guess they're former mutants. She has a Batman earring. That guy has a skull on his crotch. I mean, what a thing, Frank. What the hell? Look at this guy too. It's crazy looking. You can say what you want. You can call him what you want. You don't have to walk down Avenue D at night. You don't have to hear the sucking sounds they make every time you walk by. This one, he'd been working the nerve up for weeks before he was horny enough. No, horny he wasn't. He was just looking to hurt somebody, and he's the kind who hurts women. I wish they were rare. He gave himself an excuse. The guy just smacked her, elbowed her. She says, so now he's giggling like he's turned on. I figure he's serious enough to run after me. I go for the mace. The creep's pulling out his weapon when there's this shriek. Straight out of hell, there's this shriek. And I believe that's Crime Alley, where Batman's parents were murdered. It turns into a growl, flapping of wings, big wings. Something wet happens to the creep. Now, we saw where that skull was, and something wet happens. Whether he peed himself or something else. Hey, John. And then a side of beef slams into the lamppost. A switchblade snaps open. Breaks the guy. Bones start popping inside the creep. He's screaming and begging. What grabbed him is laughing, and so am I. Now, and the man who assaulted you? Still in the hospital. She smiles. I guess it's happened during a week before this moment. It must have. These little tales of what Batman's been up to in his return. And then Robin gets that bright yellow narration. He's old. He's almost dead. Suture, says Alfred. He's going to be okay, right? He'll live. And again, this is good stuff. It's people take it for granted sometimes, but I just love seeing things like this. It knows it's about structure. It just knows that something that's hot light up top, everything else on the side goes way black from his cape to the side of this stand, whatever it is. Very, very cool. I just like that kind of stuff. Toth was great at that. Something that people tend to forget, I think, at times, especially when drawing cars and stuff. You can darken the size, buildings as well, any object, but boxes. Just a nice little way, a shorthand of showing three-dimensionality. So then here's one of the sons of the Batman. Do not expect any further statements. The sons of the Batman do not talk. We act. Let Gotham's criminals beware. They are about to enter hell. The mutants are dead. The mutants are history. This is the mark of the future. Gotham City belongs to the Batman. They've been repeating this in some kind of loop, I guess. And it just tells you that these guys are not exactly the sons of the Batman. However brutal Batman is, these guys are more brutal. And they're willing to kill also. And do horrific things. The sons of the Batman have struck again. Jeff Stricken was closing up the South Street 7-Eleven when he became both witness and victim. They're younger than you'd think. This one was anyway. Couldn't have been older than 16. That's right. There was just one of them. That's a good shot. Very good caricature also. It's good drawing. Very good. By Miller. Good inking by Jansen. Good expression. But I'm getting ahead of myself. It all started when three Nixons came into the store. What? No, I did not go for the alarm. They don't pay me enough for suicide. I was clearing out the register when that off-duty cop came up from the back. He only saw two of the Nixons. I'd have loved to have warned him. The cop was still twitching when they headed for the door. Jeez, I heard a thunderclap. The tall Nixon went for his piece. More thunder. The last one watched the SOB reload his shotgun and didn't say a word. Boom! Look at that. The guy just killed these guys. Then the SOB, he told me I should have put up a fight with the Nixons. Said I didn't deserve to run a cash register. He grabbed a pair of wire cutters. Look at this. He grabbed a pair of wire cutters. Jesus Christ. The Nixons are the newest splinter group of the mutant army, which experts believe disbanded when the Batman defeated their leader, Tom. So there were some Jokers, now there are some Nixons, and so on. So they're all mad. The bulk of them at least. Some of them are a little more reasonable, but some of them are just mad, as nihilistic as ever, and they're trying to, I guess, I say, okay, I'll be on Batman's side, but I'm gonna continue being brutal and murderous. Thank you, Lola. Still held at Gotham's jail are 87 members of the mutant gang who were captured by Batman. Commissioner Yindel has requested that they be moved to the state penitentiary while they await trial. No trouble, Commissioner. They're still just watching TV. Yindel's request was cut short by a court order acquired by the mutant's attorney. My clients are young people, minors, most of them. If there isn't room in the jail, they should be returned to the care of their parents. Following the attorney's statement, a petition signed by 71 of the mutants' parents urged the mayor not to release. Listen to that. That's hilarious. 71 of the mutants' parents urged the mayor not to release. That's great. Out of how many were there? 87. So 71. That's hilarious. of the rat bastards' parents. Don't release them. We interrupt this broadcast for a News 2 special report. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. Now, this goes supernova epic at this point. The Dark Knight, series and story. And it's similar to similar to something that I'm doing, but it's a different take on it. Um, we know how Superman deals with nukes. We know what he does with them. Um, I can't talk about too much, but let's just say it'll be a different approach in my story. You'll see. Well, folks, I've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is that the Soviets have withdrawn their forces from the island of Corto Maltese. Something wrong, Kent? And the bad news, well, it looks like those Soviets are pretty bad losers. Yes, they are. And then Clark's handler says, "K," and Superman just disappears from his clothes and glasses. He's off, flying high, trying to intercept this nuke that the Soviets launched. And he's there. And this is epic stuff here, man. It's we've not seen Superman like this prior to this. Um, it's well drawn, and also I love the simplicity of it. You got these two like a silhouettes besides the little details of the yellow and all the blue is blacked out. Even the red boots, I guess, yeah. The cape, the chest symbol, and the belt are there. And you have this, again, this is Miller inking, at least that aspect, because you can see the cape there. And then you got this narration by Superman, which is powerful. He goes, 20 million die by fire if I am weak. 20 million die by fire if I am weak. And again, you look at this, it has far more impact, I think, than if he had drawn out the entire missile and all the details and the fire and this and that. I think it works a lot better in this simple way where Lynn Farley does the heavy lifting and makes the background with all the clouds, and Miller just lays down the line work without too much window dressing. And I don't know if I was thinking about this, but if you notice in Table 1, when I have, sorry, in Pigman, when I have the initial planes hitting the towers, they're coming down like a missile onto the city. But of course, it's because Frank and Dr. Ahmed are looking up, and I make it black because at that point, it's not just a plane anymore. It's been hijacked by evil. It's a weapon of evil. It becomes a missile. But I don't think I was thinking about this. But it just reminded me. Again, this story has had a real impact on my life and in my work, and I'm not conscious of exactly in all the ways, but if you read it, you get a good idea that that is the case. Oh man, so 20 million die by fire if I am weak. Powerful, powerful. And then you have Gordon. You have Mr. Miracle there, a guy dressed as him, a fat guy. It's funny. Oh, Miracle Man. I don't know which one. And here's Gordon. I could be sitting at home catching up on my reading. Yes, some of us still read, if not for Sarah and the one more thing she always needs from the grocery store. This time it's beans, vegetarian beans. Took me 10 minutes to figure out that it isn't in the health food section. That's funny. It's just beans without meat. 10 minutes of my life. I need a cigar. 23 days without. Everybody's proud as hell. One cigar and everything would be right with the world. What? What's she saying? Oh God, no, quiet. I can't hear. So Superman is here trying to save the world, trying to stop this nuke, trying to get everyone out of danger. Because as the president put it, the Soviets are pretty bad losers. A Soviet nuclear warhead, seconds from detonation over Corto Maltese. This is it, folks. First strike. Tom. And this is hitting home at the fears at that time about nuclear war and all that. And the media sure did their job, and movies sure did the job of trying to scare the hell out of us. Well, when it came to not that it wasn't a threat, it was, but they didn't they didn't try to tone it down. Let me just say that they played it up as much as they possibly could. Careful, be careful how you put things, Lola. This one missile, there are no indications that this is part of a full-scale attack. Um, Good stuff here by Miller. I like the line work here, the caricature. It's very, very cool. Tell that to the American troops stationed there, Tom. She hits back. And here's that monster roaring through the skies. Hold it. We've just gotten word that it's not a conventional nuclear warhead. We switch you now to Dan Musk aboard the News 2 shuttle. What's the word, Dan? Still collating, Lola, but it's a big one. Heavy megatonnage with unusual computer activity. We can't be certain of its capabilities. At the very least, Corto will be leveled. The fires might spread to mainland South America should it generate a sufficient magnetic pulse. There might. Thanks for the data, Dan, but we'll all know soon enough what it can do. Right now, we've got author Harlan Ellison in the studio. And watch what he says later. Harlan Ellison, the writer, who was a fan of Miller's actually, and I think he wrote something for Miller to draw a Wolverine short story, was facing his human self as opposed to his animal self. If I remember correctly, it was X-Men famine benefit book for Africa, for starving Africans. Why didn't they have a benefit book after Charlie Hebdo massacre? Marvel, DC, why not? They had a benefit book for, the victims of the Pulse nightclub, DC, and Oni Press, or one of those places, right? And I contacted Mark Chivillo, and I said, hey, Mark, I know about this thing coming up, and please, I know you guys, not you, but I know it's being sold as this gay book, like for Pride. Love is love. I said, this is a slaughter of 60 people because they're gay by a Muslim who went into this club and slaughtered them because they're gay, because they're not Muslim and they're gay. It's not about celebrating homosexuality. It's not about, you want to give charity to the victims, to the bereaved. Okay, I get it. But please, can you consider this at least? Give me one page in that entire book to put a little reminder that hate is hate, and make a drawing to convey that, what really happened. Because while you guys are trying to celebrate things that don't matter in this context, I want to tell the truth. And Mark Chirillo, being always the cool guy that he was with me, never always responded to me, always was cool. He goes, I'll let him know. And maybe he did. Maybe he did. Anyway, that's a big tangent there, but let's get back. So, Mr. President, give the word. Now you just keep your shirt on, Lucius. Mr. President, we'll look like wimps if we don't. Let's see what our own little deterrent can do. So they're counting on Superman. And again, this is really good stuff by Miller. It just really is. It's so iconic. It's so cartoony. It's so well drawn. The silhouettes are just really strong, man. This was him just hitting it right, man. And Lynn Varley, the backgrounds are just excellent. Look at this. Be eating our own babies for breakfast, Harlan Ellison saying. Thank you, Mr. Ellison. Yes, Dan? Lola, if it generates a pulse of sufficient intensity, it could. Dan, we finished our technical segment. She's trying to get him off the screen. It could disrupt the magnetic field, coming up viewer opinions. Lola, this is incredible. Trajectories changed 20 degrees due east. The warhead has changed course. So Superman turned it. Hopefully it can, I guess, go into the quietly into some desert, I guess. And is trying to fly away. It's a great shot. Great shot. This monster is going that way. Superman's going this way. He probably has saved incredible amount of lives. You heard it here first. See, whatever, okay, yeah, whatever Miller was trying to say about him, whatever, however cowardly he is, and however Batman condemns him, he just saved a ton of people. You got to give him his due. I mean, you have to. He's still Superman, even though he's been compromised. But then, again, in the Dark Knight Master Race one, the Master Race being the Kryptonians. It's a long story, but it's explained there a little more concretely why Superman has become this government tool. It's not because he just wanted to do it for the hell of it, just because he's a sellout. There's a reason why, and it's explained there. And it left off in an interesting way, the Dark Knight Master Race, where it could have continued. Miller was talking about the fact that he's going to write and draw a fourth Dark Knight. I'm not sure if I want him to. Write? Maybe. Draw? No, not at this point. He was already getting rough here, but still he had the ability to pull it off here. Look at this. This is epic stuff here. You heard it here first. The warhead has somehow been diverted. It will explode harmlessly in, what's the name of that desert? It might not be harmless, Lola. If that pulse is strong enough, it could disrupt all electrical... Everything cuts off. Hey, what the devil? Look at that. Batman and Superman tried to fly away and he got caught up in it. Caught up in the nuclear blast. And Batman's heartbeat is flattened. Not because he's dead, but it's a dramatic way of showing it that everything went dead. Oh God, no, Miss Kelly, he's quite alive. Better get that teeth. So the 87 scumbag mutants were watching television, and now they're gonna lose it because they can no longer watch television. So that's what was keeping them in check in a lot of ways. Better get that TV working, man. Shut up. Alfred says, we seem to be suffering a power outage. See there, Miss Kelly, I dare say all of Gotham is blacked out. Oh, real cool. Figure I can get home. Figure it isn't kind of my late. My watch stopped. Aces, like I didn't just buy it. Bloody electronics. Here now. It's half 11. And Bruce says, Clark, you idiot. You let them do it. I always knew you would. Yeah, he's in a rage. And Superman is suffering. Look at that. It's a great shot. Very, very dramatic. That's just the right way to show it also. Upside down in severe pain. Seeing Superman like that is very rare. Maybe during a break between police actions, one of your military friends told you what an electromagnetic pulse is, and maybe you listened, Clark. All you need to generate the pulse is the organized detonation of a few dozen nuclear warheads. That or a special kind of nuke that both sides have been trying to develop. And here's that guy who was speaking to Lola. I think that's him. Up in a shuttle. And his thing just died. Sweetheart, the last of the readings gave a hint of what would happen. When the computer failed, I knew for sure. There's no point in explaining it to the crew. We're all dead anyway. As dead as this shuttle. You'll never get to read this letter. It'll burn up with me when our orbit deteriorates. For the first time, you see this different kind of font here, a more conventional one, not a comic book style with all caps. You'll never get to read this letter. It'll burn up with me when our orbit deteriorates. Still, my last thoughts will be a prayer for you, for humanity, and for planet Earth. Nothing could stop the Russians from emptying their silos at us now. We'd have no defense, no way to retaliate. The one hope we have is that the decision to murder billions has to be made by a human being. Yeah, yes, Clark, both sides. The American name for it is Cold Bringer. It's designed to cause maximum damage to the environment, all the while sparing the industrial sites your friends regard so highly. Since my own atoms aren't bouncing around the atmosphere, since Gotham City squats like a great black graveyard, since Wayne Manor's emergency generator hasn't kicked in, and Robin's watch has stopped, I'll assume Russia has taken the lead in the arms race. I keep track of these things, Clark. One of us has to. That's a good image right there of Bruce, and then of Batman putting on what seems like a helmet more than a mask, which makes sense. He's more of a militaristic Batman, this one. And look at him. Look how big he is. Aren't we looking chipper? Alfred says. To the stables, Robin. And again, this is just another, it's like step by step, and and you want to see, and maybe it was sparked by this being an artist, Miller, right? Maybe it was sparked by him saying, I want to see Batman riding a big black horse and then work backward. I mean, it's possible. Being an artist, that's sometimes how we think and make that work. Because why would he be riding a horse? Because everything else is dead. That's why. Visually, it's powerful as hell. He's like the cavalry. He's like a cowboy in Gotham City, and what he is really he's Dirty Harry as Batman here, and you got the mutants screaming, "TV, TV, TV!" Murray, they're chanting, "Get down here!" They're going to grab him. Ever ride a horse, Robin? Never even saw one. I'm telling myself. So this is Gordon, and I think it's the first time we get to see his narration boxes that are different than what we saw before. They're black against white letters, unlike Batman's are gray, Robin's yellow, Joker's green, Superman's blue, and so on. But we get to see Gordon, and I don't remember seeing this prior to that. It's a later edition. I'm telling myself it's only a blackout when a bee flies in my ear. No, not a bee. It's that sound. And this would happen, right? Planes that were in the sky, they're shut down, they're dead, and they're going to crash. Not on purpose, like a 9/11, they're going to crash because they're just dead. The fuel goes up on impact. It's fast for them. Oh, Jesus, let him go. So the mutants have the cop, and they have his gun right up against his head. Let him go. Just put the gun down. Let him go. Look at this. It's just so funny. The lack of consistency. Look at that guy. That's a young cop right there, right? And next time we see him, he's an old guy. It's like, all right. Klaus Janson seemed to do that a lot. It looked like he used some reference photos also, so it just didn't quite work. But let him go. Just put the gun down and let him go. Murray, it's my own damn fault. Don't go soft. Listen to me. There's no way you're getting out of here, kids. It's a blackout. The cell doors can't be opened. Boom! Shot him. Yeah, balls nasty, you bastards. You bastards. And they blow him away too. You bastard. Boom. Butter. Butter, butter, butter. But he dusted. My man, Boner. Dusted, man. He got no face. Boner don't shiv. Balls nasty. Shit, man. We never get TV now. Bogue, he got no face. Boner don't say we breaking out. Zip lip, we breaking out. Spuds in front. What a language you got here. No spud, man. I'm a slicer dicer. Balls rad. And Rob was like, this is really dangerous. She's following Batman. We don't get to see him yet until here, until you turn that page. If I remember correctly, this was on the right side. That was on the left when you turned it. If I'm not mistaken, you want that kind of impact also. You want to put it there. It's a it's a great shot, man. It's a great shot. Miller did his work, man. He made that horse look like a real horse, and Batman looks big. People are just starting to scream when something big falls from the plane. Its engine. That's when I notice all the stalled cars with all their filled. It's a great shot there of Gordon protecting a civilian, being the cop that he is, in essence, if not in actuality. Shadow coming in there hard because of that explosion, and mutants want to push out of that jail cell. Gotham City is helpless. This is our chance to raise Gotham, to purge Gotham. No! They hear in a big, booming voice. The dump. It's a breeding ground for insects and rodents. Some rodents fly. Some rodents fly. And the city's burning. The wind picks up, spreading the flames across the west side toward my home, toward Sarah. He's about to lose it. Jesus Christ Almighty, Sarah. Push. The mutants are busting out of prison. No, no. If I have a heart attack, I'm lose to anybody. No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I wonder why they changed the narration box there with no background. And then, of course, this is a Miller drawing of Carrie Kelly. That's his inking. And it's completely different. It's not as good, actually. This is the one time I can say that Miller's inking did a disservice to the way that Klaus was inking her. That's an ugly young girl, and that's not how he established her. He established her as a cute one. I don't know what's going on with that ear, with that lip, those eyes. The hair looks like dried out also. It's very strange. But overlook that and just say, only feels like there's a storm coming. It's just his voice. She said it only feels like there's just a storm coming. It's just his voice. She's in awe looking at him. This loud, clumsy, stupid thing. Again, this is Batman being anti-gun, and the leftists running wild with that, Batman's anti-gun, yeah, huh? Yeah, he's not anti. He just shot also earlier. But anyway, this is the weapon of the enemy. We do not need it. We will not use it. What are you going to use if they're armed to their teeth? What are you going to use? Batman. What? Our weapons are quiet, precise. In time, I will teach. Yeah, you don't have time. How about this night, right now? In time, I will teach them to you. Tonight, you will rely on your fists and your brains. Tonight, we are the law. Tonight, I am the law. Let's ride. Just his voice. Just him. Epic. Look at that. Riding into Gotham City. The cops are overwhelmed. All running away. Looks bad. I'm crying, but it's just a smoke. Smoke, doesn't it figure? Yeah, what he was aching for earlier. Down there, cops, ain't fan, don't shiv. So they busted out the mutants. Something explodes right on my block, a gas main. And they're killing the cops. And Gordon says, God, anything is in there is as good as, damn, that smoke. Can't see her, can't tell if she's alive, or I'm running around with all the other headless chickens. That's no damn good. I start yelling orders. Some old woman laughs at me. Damn, that's effective right there. I start yelling orders. Some old woman laughs at me, he says. Whole city blacked out. Rad, balls rad. It's our night. Slice and dice, man. Slice and dice. You hear horses? Like in a Western? I slideway spud there. And look at these madmen. Look at this. It's like Miller turned the whole city into madmen. Look at this. Look at that guy. About to club him in the head with a brick. Like a monster. And Gordon says, nobody listens, gone crazy fighting for food like it's the end of the world. And maybe it is. But we're better than this. Of course, I still carry it. They start listening. That's right, Batman. That's right, Batman. And if he didn't do that, maybe they wouldn't start listening. Maybe they wouldn't have cooperated with him as much. That's, Miller playing it 10 ways. He always does that. He's left, he's right, he's this and that over the last 30 years. It's annoying. It's fucking annoying. But that's, I guess, a contrast. Maybe Miller's doing that on purpose. I don't know. But he says, of course, I still carry it. They start listening. That's right, they sure do. Dunk, dunk. Ow, dunk, dunk, dunk. Ugh. Commissioner, quiet Merkel. So Yindel's like, she's just watching Batman now. Boys, girls, I'm here to appeal to your community spirit. I'm sure you're all eager to help. Love that. And it was nice when Peter Weller acted that out in his voice work for the Dark Knight Returns movie, the animated version. However rough that is, I love that Batman. It's so damn good. Um, if you haven't seen my Batman from the Kings, check it out, guys. It's on my X as well. I did a Dark Knight with Batman and Robin, Carrie Kelly version, running. It was fun. It's been in my head, so I figured, the theme was DC, so of course I had to draw that. I did think about Rorschach and the Question, but that's the one that won out. Commissioner, no, no, he's too big. Here's Yindel submitting to this idea that right now, I think Batman's the best thing going on here tonight. He's better than what we're doing. He can actually organize this mad group of people and bring order to the city tonight and beyond. And she goes, Commissioner. He goes, Commissioner, no, he's too big. And that's something along the lines that Yindel was like, that Gordon was telling her earlier. So here is Gordon after he pulled out his gun. He's in charge now, and they're all working together. Not that it's only out of fear, but thanks, all seeing it. Appreciate it. It was fun. It was fun to draw Batman and Robin just running. Batman's huge, Miller's version of Batman is just like a giant. The spirit spreads as fast as the fire. Two nurses show up out of nowhere. They don't have a damn thing to work with. The ones they can't comfort, they get drunk. Yeah, David All. It was well made, and I liked the difference that Peter Weller did instead of the other guy that everyone I think overpraises. I think. Um, Peter Weller did a really good job, a very mature job. And again, he's an older man, and the character's older, so I think it really worked. Um, well made. The music was great too. Um, and more or less, it was this. But they expanded the fight of Batman and Superman in epic quality. They really punched it up, and also with the Joker, it went a little longer. But I got no complaints. Sometimes the longer the better. Um, the man at the hardware store puts his shotgun away and empties paint buckets all over his new tile floor. A line forms. Pulse is steady. No problem. No sign of Sarah. So as he was looking for his wife, as his main concern, he's like, okay, well, let me get this in order. I'll still think about her, but let me get this in order. Let me just focus on this. Harmlessly. The woman on television, she said the bomb would detonate harmlessly. This is Clark, Superman. You cannot touch my planet without destroying something precious. Even her deserts are abundant. There were birds here who she blessed with chest feathers, absorbent enough to carry water for miles to their children. And again, this is just Miller, his version here, as opposed to the Klaus Janson version that didn't make the cut. So Klaus inked, I believe, both of these pages, and Miller re-inked them. And I think they're more effective. I just think they're more effective, and the color work, just it's incredible, and it works, and there's a nice contrast from Batman on the first issue cover with that night blue sky, lightning bolt going down, and him jumping through the air, and Superman here getting blasted by lightning, um, like a purple sky. Bullfrogs who slept for years in dried out riverbeds, then dug their way to the surface when the rains came. Now there is only blackened glass, endless flame. Our people, Bruce, you laugh at them. They can do this and you laugh. They can split the very fabric of reality, blast 100,000 tons of sand into the sky, blotting out the source of all my power, the hope for screaming millions. Magnetic storm. You have every reason to be outraged, Mother Earth. You have given them everything. They are tiny and stupid and vicious, but please listen to them. Please, I am slow and dying. I need only reach the sun. And right when he says that, he gets blasted, falls to the earth. I have always loved you. Though I was born a galaxy away, I have always served you. The same power, the sun's power, fuels us both. You hold it here. You store it. I beg you, for a suffering world, release it. Mother, Mother, you are so generous. One second. I gotta get this fucking flap thing. I hate it. I want to make sure you guys can see what I see. Okay, you can. You give me your beautiful jungle. I swear your adopted son will honor you. And again, the use of color here. Throughout the entire book, you had the big blue of the inner thoughts of Superman. Yeah, a light blue here, really drained of life and color. It's lighter than it was. His suit here is lighter than it was. And as he becomes healthier, even the colors here, look at that yellow on there, look at that yellow there. And also the narration box, boom. Bright, healthy blue again. It's awesome. Yep. David also, yeah, it's worth owning on the physical media. I loved it. Yeah, the Dark Knights. I think I have it in both as well. I think I do. I must have it, yeah, because I have my whole library on like the special editions, the steel boxes. I don't know if they have this in steel box, but they should. I'd love to see an adaptation, a clean, clear adaptation, not a semi-adaptation like Dark Knight Rises or Batman vs Superman. A straight one. I hope they would do that one day, like an Elseworld set thing. Fine. Maybe James Gunn, his maybe they'll deviate a little. Say, okay, let's do some Elseworld stuff. At one point, have like you could have, I guess, Cavill playing Superman at that point, or even Batman. I think Cavill would have made a great Batman too. Think about that, wouldn't he? Or how about him and Bale? You know, Dark Knight Returns. Bill would have to bulk up, but we know he's a committed actor, so that could be interesting. He'll look more like a Clint Eastwood type thing with white hair. Anyway, David also said this is one of the Batman series that got me reading comics in the '80s. Plus Batman years 1 to 3, I was hooked. Yeah, I just think Batman Year One, the contrast with the other with the Year Two, and I think they did end up doing a Year Three. Not as great as Year One, but it had its moments, and that's the last issue. Alan Davis began drawing Year Two. Todd McFarlane took over, and then by the fourth issue of that series, McFarlane inked it as well. Gotham by Gaslight animated movie is great too. I gotta watch that. I read the book years ago. Clearly the Mignola. I gotta watch that. I saw. Okay, I did. I think I did. I must have. Okay, I do remember now. Expanded, I think, like the Dark Knight movie, expanded from the book itself. Very cool. So yeah, this is a great, great moment. Superman is, and again, Zack Snyder, he's an idiot, and he made that happen to Superman, and it was like, yeah, you didn't earn that, man. This is 50 years of Batman and Superman, and this is it works because these characters have been friends, and now they're enemies and so on. So there's a history there. You can't just introduce them in the movie and try to make us care for them. And try to make the public even in the movie care for them the way they did. It doesn't work. It didn't work. You have to build and build and build, and then if you want to deconstruct, fine, but you got to build first. You don't take it for granted people all know all those stories. You don't do that. Anyway, you are so generous. You give me your beautiful jungle. I swear your adopted son will honor you. So he's back. He's back to full health. And then you have a terrified looking Gordon from my building. She screams, Sarah's height, Sarah's hair, a skirt that could be Sarah's. He's losing his shit there. Try not to judge them too harshly. It was a cruel test for all of us. Now, this is the aftermath. People are being interviewed about this night, this horrific night of the blackouts, of the power outage, of the nuclear. What do you call that? There's a term for it. I think they mentioned it later here. And we can hope a lesson. None of us can look back on that same night without shame. None of you? You? I think Gordon can. I think Superman can. I think Batman can. Robin. And even some of the Sons of Batman, who I guess end up being part of his crew at some point. None of us can look back on that night without shame. Even before it all, I was wrapped in myself. You see, I have always been rather sensitive to noise. And that boy, he seemed to keep pace with me deliberately, taking the joy from my evening walk with his horribly loud radio. When it shrieked, I blamed the boy. Truth to tell, I turned to confront him. Then I noticed his own confusion and the darkness that seemed to fall across the entire city. I heard shouts. Yes, I was shouting. What do you expect? Having to be against a bitch of a deadline. What? Yes, of course. I'd heard about the bomb, but I've got problems of my own. I'm not crazy about getting out of my car, not in that neighborhood. But I know I better call the agency and make sure my ass is covered. So I'm barely standing up when there's this explosion, knocks me flat. My ankle feels like it's broken. Somebody is going to get sued. I'm barely on my feet when that girl is all over me talking about World War III. I don't like being touched, and like I said, I've got my own problems, but she won't shut up. Guess I just lost control. This is not a girl at this point. It's an older lady there. Come on, Frank. If you describe her as a girl, make her look like a girl. Anyway, Guess I just lost control. I've been having nightmares about the bomb. Read up on it a lot, and when the lights went out, well, I knew it had to be the electromagnetic pulse. And all the books say that that it only happened during a full-scale exchange. And when I heard that explosion, I mean, later I found out it was a 747 crashing into the Brigham building. I guess we were lucky it was the only plane to fall on Gotham. But just then, I mean not knowing, but it was dumb. But when I heard the explosion, I thought, and when the car started going up, she jumped on him. Nobody told me about any airplane. The cars were popping off like firecrackers. Everybody's screaming. It was every man for himself. Oh, right, the cop. Listen, I've never broken a law, not in any way that counts. And it wasn't me who told him to try to help that Jap bitch out of her Volkswagen. Jeez. This is a very effective drawing here with the cop. I mean, look at that. And Lynn Varley is adding to it with that explosion. It's very, very effective. Good inking there by Klaus, too. Klaus Jensen. Grow up. Somebody was going to get his gun. He sure didn't have any use for it. That priest, he didn't see it my way. Look at this. He wouldn't let go. I wouldn't listen to reason. I've been to church every Sunday since I was a kid, but when push comes to shove, boom. Hey, you weren't there. You could barely see through all the smoke. Well, sure, I heard shelling. It was the end of the world, and I had a gun. Wouldn't take a genius to realize that the only other thing worth a damn was food. I wasn't alone either. There's no excuse for what we did. We weren't crazy. We were just an ugly bunch of stupid, selfish bastards. Uh, there was the priest, a bloody mess. I didn't care. No excuse. I wasn't in with the rest of them, shoving, yelling about food and guns. There was no plan. Nobody fighting the fire. Yes, there was. You just didn't know about it, didn't even care to join in with Gordon and the others. Fires are for the fire department. That's why I pay my taxes. We had ourselves to look after. We were heading east on Chelsea, hit the Grand Union parking lot when we ran into another crowd that had gotten the same idea. Looked like they cleaned the whole store out and wanted it all for themselves. One of them made a move for the gun. He was black. I'm no racist, but I thought he might have a knife. I did what anybody would have. I guess he shot and killed him. Mad. I still can't believe it as got as bad as it did. You'd never have known that just a few minutes earlier I was strangling somebody when I heard the horses. That's the thing, Batman brought this instant order here. It is Ian. Great page, man. And there's another version of this as well, I believe, looking at it in the book. I think it's one where Batman's cape is gray, and is everything has black hair was gray. And again, that's why Yindel, she stood down and said he's too big. He was the only one who was able to bring order to this madness. And his first, idea was to bring order. Everyone else was trying to survive and stuff. He's like, no, people are gonna lose it. He knows about their psychology. He knows that he has to go in there and take care of business, and the cops wouldn't do it as well. Like the Gestapo, they moved in on us, Batman and that brat army of his. You'd have thought we were criminals. I tried to defend myself. He singled me out. Picked him up and threw him. Broken 3 ribs. Broke 3 ribs. And this brace isn't for laughs. Whenever they catch that lunatic, he'll hear from my attorney. Who gave him the right? When he talked, Batman, I mean, it's hard to describe. There was something in his voice. Anyway, he told us we could spend the night tied up or help fight the fire. And here's Gordon. She only got to scream once. It was too late to help her. She isn't Sarah. I don't know her. And here's Robin's thoughts. And it's a great image. It's a really one among many Belutas. Batman. It's only once in the whole night that it shows. He's given orders, and all the mutants and the SOBs and everybody are gone for a minute. He just sags in his saddle like an old man. Great shot. Look at that. This hulk of a man. He's exhausted. He's feeling it. Then he straightens up and grins at me like it's funny. He can't die. Turns out Sarah had gone to the grocery store. Turns out Sarah forgot to tell me she needed milk. One more thing. That's great, man. It's great seeing Gordon, not lose his woman. After the mob left, the explosions continued. The fires were everywhere. I was barely conscious, if not for the boy That's right, the boy with the radio. He pulled me clear, saved my life. When Batman dropped off the medical supplies, the boy passed them around. He was at my side till morning, helping the burned. But of course, there wasn't any morning. That's right. It's a great moment there. 1 week later, it's still dark at high noon in Gotham City. It's still winter in August. Here's Carla shriek to explain. And it's interesting, this is it's Batman's time, nighttime. It's been night for an entire week. Lola, the Soviet coal-bringer, was designed to induce the environmental effects of full-scale nuclear war. First, it generated the pulse that blacked out. On that pulse, don't miss our special tonight. Your favorite stars are asked, where were you when the lights went out? Carla? Jesus Christ. Lola, the pulse was only the beginning. Weather patterns across the hemisphere have been completely disrupted. They sure have, Carla, and so has my wardrobe. This is the coldest day of the year. I don't know what to wear these days. My God. Got a bimbo leading it. She's coming full out now. Civil war in the Midwest. Starving. Cubans won't budge. Riots. Media push. Credibility disaster. No, Mr. President, I'm afraid he'll never let me bring him in alive. And this is Clark talking to the president, and the president looks a lot older than he appears on television. I guess Miller's trying to suggest that it's a wig of some sort, I guess. And that's Lynn Varley painting a red and white American flag on his robe, is what it looks like. And he can't walk around. He's clearly decrepit, Biden style. This version of Reagan, I guess, according to Miller. He's not referred to as Reagan, but you know it is. The coldest Lola until tomorrow. The bombs blast, thrust hundreds of millions of tons of soot into the stratosphere, creating a black cloud that covers the Americas, blotting out the sun, depriving us of light and heat. People are freezing to death by the thousands. The damage to crops could well bring on a famine. And here's Bruce. I'm surprised he took the chance of coming to America with Clark in the country, but Oliver has always lived by his impulses. This particular impulse I can understand. So here's Oliver Queen, Green Arrow. He comes into the picture here. He goes, you've always had it wrong, Bruce. Like an old hippie. And, Denny O'Neil, the old leftist, imposed his leftism on Green Arrow to try to contrast him with the right-wing Green Lantern. David L. says, you are correct on that. Zack Snyder, Batman vs. Superman was too many different comic storylines. Yeah, the death of Superman, The Dark Knight Returns, you don't do that. You stick to one. You tell it as well as you can and create your own story. You haven't earned the right to call Superman a figure of hope. You never established that he was a figure of hope. He was a figure of strange, he never came clean with the public. He never, like the Superman in the James Gunn world, he never did that. He looked and acted like an alien. I mean, not good. And it was a very short career, too. It wasn't like he was a long-lasting figure of hope just because he said so. Just because he mouthed the words, this is a symbol of hope. Oh, okay. We don't know anything about you. We know you're powerful as hell, and if you go bad, we're in trouble, but I guess we'll take your word for it. No, not good. Anyway, so here's, again, Oliver Queen. The leftist Oliver Queen, as established, as made so by the leftist Denny O'Neil, who tried to turn the Question into a leftist as well. He couldn't help but impose his shit on all these characters. You've always had it wrong, Bruce, giving them such a big target. Sure, you played mysterious, but it's a loud kind of mysterious, man, especially lately. You got to learn how to make those sons of bitches work for you. Look, it's been 5 years since I blew out of prison, and I've kept busy. Computer failure was responsible for the sinking of the U.S. nuclear submarine Valiant. Pentagon sources disclosed today no hands were lost. And they've been covering me. They've been covering for me just like they covered up my escape. Sure, they'd love to frost me, long as they can do it without admitting I exist. But you, Bruce, man, they have to kill you. And again, this is Lynn Varley taking it upon herself to make this background of the window. It's nice, as well as here, you know. And Bruce turns around and says, Oliver, what do you want? That's a good shot there. I always knew it'd get down to you and the big blue schoolboy. Planet's too big for the two of you. When it all comes down, I want a piece of him. A small piece will do. For old times. For old times' sake, you know. It still hurts when it's cold. There's this idea that Superman has something to do with his arm missing. Nothing we can't handle, folks. We're still America, and I'm still president. And Robin's talking to Bruce. Who was that? Who was that Spud? Talks like my dad. He used to fight crime. The president has imposed limited martial law, thereby deploying military aid to law enforcement agencies against outbreaks of violence and looting. Right there, in that saddle, is all the reason I need. It's almost frightening how quickly she's learning to ride. She has decades left to her. New York, Chicago, Metropolis, every city in America is caught in the grip of a national panic. With one exception, right, Tom? Then a blast of heat from the sky. Where? And it begins. He looks up. Crime Alley. For the showdown. That's right, Lola. Thanks to the Batman and his vigilante gang, Gotham streets are safe unless you try to commit a crime. Well, isn't that well put? Simply. So this is where Cable enters. You know Cable? Yeah, this is where Rob Liefeld was reading Dark Knight and says, oh, yeah, I'm going to put a lot of belts and a lot of metal stuff and a big gun and all that, and especially when he has the helmet off, you know. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that Rob Liefeld just swiped this version of Batman at the end as Cable because he came out like a year or two later. Healing quite poorly, Master Bruce. Huh. Shall I prepare another stimulant? Why delay your very first cardiac arrest? Maybe Oliver was right all along, crazy as it sounds. Bloody walking hospital bed, Alfred says. That's enough, Alfred. It's hilarious. In the past week, 73 violent attacks on would-be looters have been attributed by witnesses to the Batman and his gang. You didn't like Peter Weller as Batman, Mikey? I liked it a lot. I thought he was great. I'm not as taken by the guy who did all the Batman animated show as much. I'm not. Try hard. He was a try hard, and you could tell he really had to push to get that voice to the point where it sounded like he was straining to do it. Whereas Peter Weller, I think, just has a deeper register, so he didn't have to force it as much. When you came for me in the cave, I was just 6 years old. You are ancient. Nothing could kill you. But the war, it did not begin then. No, it was 2 years later when her necklace caught on his wrist, when he shoved his pistol to her jaw and pulled the trigger, and everything my mother was struck the pavement as a bloody wad. That night began 30 years of hunting thieves and murderers. Is that what you intended? Commissioner Yindel refused to comment on the charge that Gotham's police have been lax in pursuing the murder charge against the Batman. Interesting. She's understanding what Gordon ended up understanding. Somewhere in the endless night, like a bellow from a wounded bear, the answer comes. Army troops have evacuated the slum known as Crime Alley. No explanation is given. News coverage has been flatly denied. The timing must be exact. This is Bruce talking. In 1 hour at midnight, a grand death. Now this is Miller showing his cards a little. It's interesting that they did that. I don't know why it was necessary to do that, but here we are. And I'm sorry, guys. Every time I click the far end panels, it seems to go all the way back. Sucks. Rumors fly. Army helicopters hover over the empty streets of Crime Alley. As this is this a military effort to capture the Batman? This one you won't believe, Clark. My best trick. And if you know the story, you know why that's green. Or is this the final battle between two titans, the last stand for the Cape Crusader facing the might of the man of... Do not adjust your set. They leave all... It's interesting, this building here. It was a similar building at the end of Daredevil Born Again. They leave a hole in the cordon big enough to drive a tank through. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. Huh. 20 minutes left. I know you won't be late, Clark. You hate to stay up late. He's a good boy. That's the idea. Everything's in position, boss. Like maybe it's time you told me the plan. I mean, you going to die or what? Figure I will. Figure I will. With a little grin. The wind picks up. That's a great shot. He draws him not as a figure of hope, but a menace. Something scrambles our sensors, Kent. Something scrambling our sensors, Kent. It's up to you to find them. That's right, Clark. Scan the area. Bathe it with x-rays. Activate those 600 missiles I worked so hard on. This is a powers test. I want to see how much of you survived that nuclear explosion. He'd have to be at full speed to dodge them. He isn't. I watched them kick him around for a minute. I've had worse times. And then you have this narration box for Alfred, which is different than everyone else also. It has its own different font. And it's white. Strange to think of that particular evening, more than 40 years passed. Master Bruce was but 9 years old and restless, as he always was at night. And I believe this is all added here, I guess, by Lynn Farley. I can't imagine who else. I mean, it doesn't look inked. I'm guessing it's her. Still, he sat, politely enough, on his bed as Alfred read to him. The purloined letter, yes, that was the story. He listened in silence as, finishing the tale, Alfred explained the importance of Mr. Poe's contribution to detective fiction. Then, with a voice like steel, so frightfully formal, his dark eyes flashing, Master Bruce asked, no, demanded, the killer was caught and punished. Yeah. Alfred assured him that the villain had met justice. Bruce slept like a boy. Detonation T-minus 11 minutes and 24 seconds. And here we go, next second, 11 minutes, 23 seconds. And all these are done, I believe, by Lynn Varley, which is nice. Just a nice touch. As opposed to the black and white of the art and the color. And that's all just painted in. He hits the ground on schedule, 1 block from me, breathing a little fast. It's Robin's turn. The charge could sink a battleship. I think he feels it. Boom! And he picks up the Batmobile, the tank. Scrack. Isn't tonight a school night? That's something Superman would say. Pretty much on character, in character. And then you got this, I guess it would be a famous page, If you own this original art, that's a big deal, I think, especially in this story. So you have Superman coming down and Batman ready for him. You get to see his full suit there. More wind. Now he's talking, trying to reason with me. I can't hear him, of course. No, my ears are protected, so all I have to worry about is my teeth. Rattling from my jaw or shattering, like every window on the block. But I hit him with a sonic. A nosebleed. So soon, Clark. Don't drop now. The night is young, and I have so much planned. And it has to end here on this filthy patch of street where my parents died. That's good stuff there. Superman's musculature. That's very good. Miller was not the best when it came to drafting, but that's pretty solid there. Where I can use the city's power, every watt of it, to fry your brain. Still talking. Keep talking, Clark. You've always known just what to say. Yes, you always say yes to anyone with a badge or a flag. No good. The feedback, I'm not getting 100th of what you are, but it's getting bad ahead of schedule. What didn't hit you and me fed this suit, Clark? It's time, it's way past time you learned what it means to be a man. Boom! And this is a famous image that people have tried to mimic. It's unfortunate the way that helmet looks because it makes him look like really old. And also, as I was mentioning, the musculature before, this is where it fills. I mean, look at this. You have to make the foreshortening look right. It looks like a calf that goes all the way to his ankle. A huge calf that goes all the way to his ankle. And then this one gets it right at least. So it's a lack of consistency. You should have cut it in there and then there. You should have cut it there and then there. But Miller is not, is not one to, I guess, get things right necessarily. But it's an impactful shot nonetheless. I mean, look at this. High impact. And the cape flying like that. Boom! It's very good. Fist goes that way, cape flies the other way. Bruce, this is idiotic. You're just bone and meat like all the rest. Boom! And this is where this is Cable again. Captain, his helmet is off. I got a peach of a shot. Don't think about it, soldier. Not till one of them drops. Executive order. Squad 3, report. Kent disabled some heavy hardware, sir. Damn this alloy surface, sir. It's shaking. What the hell? Fall back. Robin, this is a recording. So Bruce left her a recording. You sold us out, Clark. You gave them the power that should have been ours. Just like your parents taught you to. My parents taught me a different lesson. Lying on this street, shaking in deep shock, dying for no reason at all, they showed me that the world only makes sense when you force it to. Bruce, I just broke 3 of your ribs. By now, Clark should be too busy to listen in. Here's the plan. Wrist crushed, ribs moving with a life of their own, and Clark just broke a sweat. Now, if Oliver doesn't screw up, oh no. Oliver, you clown. Goddamn running dog. What? You promised you'd keep your hands off the soldiers. Sir, it's a man with a bow. Fire at will, Clark. If Clark figures out why you're here, a little acid to distract him. Oliver. Bracka. Oh, goddamn hit. He got shot. Oliver Queen. Get yourself killed on your own time. I've only got 1 minute left and I'm running out of tricks. Something he gives him and just something explodes in Superman's face. Goddamn fascist son of bitches. Yeah. Fascists are leftist, Ollie. As are National Socialists, as are communists, as are all these scum, as is every Muslim who becomes a politician in America. They're all Democrats. Why do you think that is? But anyway, Oliver, I've finally gotten him angry. It's now or never. Ka-tang! Boom! Kryptonite arrow. And check out what Batman says. He goes, it wasn't easy to synthesize, Clark. Took years and it cost a fortune. Luckily, I had both. Come and get me, you sons of what? Eyes downside, Spud. Figure we got all week. He's like, what the? Hi-oh, goddamn silver. Superman's feeling it. He goes, Bruce, your heart. You're beginning to get the idea, Clark. This is the end for both of us. Tanks breaking away, got them. Whole area surrounded, heading across the parking lot. What? Fell through? What the hell? Oh, Christ, water main. We lost them. Christ, we lost them. Um, okay, you guys can see what I see. Cool. We could have changed the world. Now look at us. I become a political liability, and you're a joke. I want you to remember, Clark, in all the years to come, in your most private moments, I want you to remember my hand at your throat. I want you to remember the one man who beat you. And then his heart goes boom. And Superman's in a little shock. The clock strikes 12. The ancient moor trembles beneath Alfred's feet. Deep underground computers holding every precious secret of the Batman burst and burn. Mrs. Wayne's priceless collection of porcelain shatters musically. Empty stables fly apart like toothpick models. It's good stuff here, man. A real caricature that he made Alfred, but man, it works. And the color is just great. The central mass of Wayne Manor shudders as if alive, then vanishes in a flash, bright as the sun. The world turns ruby red. The manor roof rises madly into the sky, riding a pillar of flame. And that's all Lynn Varley, this entire panel right here. A jolt travels the length of Alfred's spine. Of course, he thinks, as his head goes light. How utterly proper. Yeah. He collapses. He goes, of course, how utterly proper. And then you have Superman telling the military, don't touch him. God damn it, guys. Sorry about that. I got to keep it in mind. Those final things there, the final panels always change it. Commend his soul. And here's Lola Chang with her final report. Final propaganda. Cloud has almost completely cleared in the past 72 hours. The president has declared a state of stabilized emergency. Repeating the week's top stories, the spectacular career of the Batman came to a tragic conclusion as the crime fighter suffered a heart attack while battling government troops. He has been identified as 55-year-old billionaire. So this is interesting. The book started him being a millionaire, and by the end, he's referred to as a billionaire. I thought that was funny. Hello, Jeremy. That's funny to me. So within a short period, he became a billionaire? No, he should have always been a billionaire, even back in the day. And his death, as proven as mysterious as his life, must have been a shocker to the citizens of Gotham, at least those who didn't really pay too much attention. And here's Catwoman, Selena Kyle. Son of a bitch, I know who killed him. So, Selena, this is no good. Wayne Manor was leveled by a series of explosions set apparently by Wayne's butler, found dead from a stroke at the scene. Flames destroyed whatever evidence may have existed as to Batman's methods. Also missing, it seems, is the Wayne fortune. Can't believe he had the nerve to come here. People are saying about Superman. Internal Revenue agents investigated Wayne's records, finding his every bank account empty, every stock sold. Yeah, he put in the work. Where the money went is one more secret Wayne has taken to his grave. His body was claimed by his only living relative, a distant cousin. A distant cousin. With the super hearing, he hears a heartbeat. He looks at his distant cousin, recognizes her as Robin, puts two and two together, and says, you know what? Okay. All right. That's pretty damn cool. It shows the grace of Superman also. My timing wasn't quite precise enough, Clark heard. That was the first thing Robin told me when she dug me up. Not that it mattered. He'd have guessed sooner or later. He knows how good I am with chemicals. I was counting on what Oliver said, and with a wink, Clark proved Oliver right. He'll leave me alone now. In return, I'll stay quiet. So will Robin and the rest. There, see that ledge? Get a lamp up there, right, boss? Careful with that. Right, all set, boss. Good. Now gather around. We haven't got all night, boy. That's not true. We have years, as many as we need. First, we get a steady supply of water. There's a spring right underneath. Robin, sit up straight. She's like, yes, sir. He's like a military commander. Years to train and study and plan. Here in the endless cave, far past the burnt remains of a crime fighter whose time has passed. It begins here, an army to bring sense to a world plagued by worse than thieves and murderers. This will be a good life. Good enough. It's awesome. To the works of Bill Finger, Dave Fleischer, Max Fleischer, Jerry Robinson, Joe Shuster, Jerry Siegel, Dick Sprang, Batman created by Bob Kane, which is now, I think, officially in DC movies. Now there's Batman created by Bob Kane with Bill Finger and Bill Finger, because they both had a lot to do with it. And that's that, guys. It's awesome. Let's see. Thanks for being here, everyone. I do appreciate it. I'm going to make my pitch in my final week of my campaign, of my own campaign, which takes on the Islamic enemy, all while Marvel and DC Comics used to publish comic books that went after America's enemies in World War II, and even during the 60s, Iron Man going after the Soviets. They were still like the KGBs and all that. They were still doing it up until the 80s, right? 9/11 happens. What happens? We get half-assed efforts by Marvel, having Captain America face this Al Qaeda type group who rationalize their attacks and have Captain America understand it a little. He gets it, type thing. It's the leftist writers. They couldn't help themselves. They had to rationalize. They had to justify 9/11 somehow. Why do they hate us? Well, we must did something, right? I mean, imagine how evil we must be to have to be attacked in that way. That's the thinking that these self-loathing scum think. My point is that our enemies, our real-world enemies, used to be taken on by our superheroes. That's long gone. Post 9/11, we have Muslim superheroes. We have Kamala Khan. We have the Amulet. We have Night Runner. We have Dusk. We have Simon Baz, the Green Lantern, the Muslim Green Lantern, who carries a physical gun for some reason. Why? I don't know. If his ring goes down, I don't know. Stupid. He thought it looks cool, I guess, with a dumb mask. And there's more. But those are the ones that jump out from Marvel and DC. There's a handful of them, at least three or four on each side. And that's enemy propaganda made by our enemy within, the left. I believe if there were rational individuals in charge of Marvel and DC post 9/11, even if a Jim Shooter was there, not that Jim Shooter was necessarily right wing, he's pretty neutral, but he liked Pigman. Let me show you actually. I have this one thing. Let me show you here. Let me. The great Jim Shooter. I was lucky enough to get his a nice blurb for Pigman a number of years ago when I was able to correspond with him. He just died recently, and I loved Jim Shooter. I loved his comics. I loved his. He was damn good, man. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. Okay. It's here, and then I can go back to this screen. Part of me is a little surprised that I was able to figure all this out, believe it or not, guys. Believe it or not. Okay, so yeah, it's Pigman number one. It's in my latest ad. I say closing out Pigman number one this week as Marvel and DC publish Islamic propaganda with their Muslim superheroes as jihad marches on. Back a comic book that fights jihad. And here is Daniel Greenfield, who I did cartoons for his articles for about 14 years, a front page magazine, David Horowitz's magazine, online magazine. And he gave me the best review I've ever gotten. He was also a comic fan. And he goes, The Infidel's closest parallel is Frank Miller's Dark Knight, the only fully relevant post 9/11 comic. And, it blew me away, his review. Chuck Dixon said, Powerful story and well told. You wade fearlessly into some very dangerous waters here. Stylish, raw, and visceral, and told with a lot of heart. I really appreciate that from Chuck. And also James Hubnall, who passed away a number of years ago. Very strong storytelling and graphic design skills. It doesn't pull any punches. Bosch falls and goes where few dare to tread. And then Jim Shooter. Well done, provocative, not politically correct. You've got skills. Jim Shooter. The great Jim Shooter. So that meant a lot in particular because he's just, he's a legend. He was a legend. 13 years old, writing, comic books, superhero, Superman, creating the Parasite, um, going to Marvel as the youngest editor-in-chief ever. I think it was late 20s, maybe 27, 28. Within 10 years, producing some of the best mainstream work we've ever seen. From Roger Stern, John Romita Jr. Spider-Man run, from John Byrne and X-Men, Fantastic Four, Alpha Flight, Hulk, Walt Simonson Thor, Frank Miller's Daredevil, and coming back to a Daredevil and so on. The Epic line, the Epic Illustrated. Great, great, great stuff, man. Just great stuff. Across the board, everything was just, you know, the average Marvel comic was good. Some were great. Yeah. Hey, good night, David. Take care. Be well. See you later. Shane is closing out Anatomic tonight. I'll be watching that later. Me too. I'll definitely join in if there's an opening there. Thanks, David. So yeah, guys, just want to do my final pitches for the week by Sunday, by Monday. I think now, after thinking about it, by Monday, and what Flade mentioned also, I think he's right. I'll just close it out on King's Night and hopefully Kang's. That'll be the way I can get at least some eyeballs on there. Let people know that it'll be the final night that they can order it, that they can back it. So again, it's a story of twin brothers, Killian Duke and Salam Duca. Post 9/11, their Islamic background comes to the forefront of their lives. One goes completely away from Islam, becomes a recovered Muslim, Killian, and one submits fully to Islam, Salam. Salam means peace, by the way. Not Islam. Islam means submission. Salam means peace, and his name is Peace, even though he's a jihadist. Here's a cover of both of them looking eye to eye. That's Killian, that's Salam, and their counterparts in the fictional world within a comic. Pigman, Super Jihad. I have a 9-page preview. I have 6 covers, and I will have a 7th closeout cover. I will have a closeout cover as well, a wraparound. And I got a 9-page preview. I have all these different covers. I have the Pigman T-shirt as well. I got the with my most popular cover here, the uh, what's it called? The what was it called? What the hell, man? The war paint cover. Damn, the war paint cover, and the war paint being jihadist blood. That's what it is. Here's Osama bin Laden. He comes across him. He finally finds the rat, and he goes, "I'll shoot. I swear, don't touch me." And Pitman's just looking down on him. All right. And here's what I mentioned before about the black plane. Like it turns into a beast, into something evil. It's no longer a passenger plane. It's a weapon of evil, and it's drawn that way. Um, Here's Killian with his own conflicts on the street. Gets into street fights with these Muslims who are giving away Qurans. And then here's Pigman's World, his first appearance in the book. And then you see him find Osama bin Laden right there, and he's like, "You." And here's a transition page between Killian's World, inked in pen, and black gutters within the panels, between the panels, and Pigman's World with white gutters and inked in brush, just to differentiate. And Here he is taking on these savages who, as he puts it, madmen, misogynists dying and killing for 72 women, only in Islam. Yep. And then another transition page between the Pigman's world and Killian's world. So check it out, guys. I also have my first book, Table for One, that was praised by Alex Toth, who had some great stuff to say about it. It's 81 pages, graphic novel, square bound. I used to pitch it at conventions as Dirty Harry as a waiter to get the gist of it out there. And I have original art as well, and I have my Pigman hard index card. I had to remove it. I had a number of backers, but I had to remove it, put it back in because some reason it wouldn't uh, hold its space here on the page. I don't know why. And I also had two backers for the Pigman commission, which is $1,000, a lot of money, but you can get an original drawing Pigman with an idea by you. And I got two of those. And I also have Prop Piganda, which is the first print appearance of Pigman. I thought I ran out of them recently, but I moved and I found two boxes at least. And you can get that. It's 128 pages. It's 9 by 11, square bound, and it has a lot of images that end up having story points in Pigman. And just some more like, propaganda posters. I don't do propaganda. I tell the truth about this stuff, but I thought it was too good of a pun not to use propaganda. And if you look close at the Twin Towers behind that one as well. So I think that's pretty cool. If you see right there, the Twin Towers there, and red, white, and blue. So uh, I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for giving and taking, and hope you enjoyed the Dark Knight Returns review, as thorough as I can make it. And I hope you guys will consider backing Pigman. I would really appreciate your support. I want this to have a strong close, and then once I fulfill it, launch issue 2 and so on until at least issue 6. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. You guys take care of yourselves. Be well. Until next time. Thank you. Take care.